Hi students, myself Tanmoy Dotto, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, JS College of Engineering. Welcome you all in the 6th class of water pollution. Water pollution is included in the third module of environmental science. Today we will discuss about the boiler water problem and the solution. There are some kinds of parameters of which we have to measure the for the water, of which water we want to use in the boiler, like starting from the color, starting from the pH, temperature, hardness, alkalinity, etc., etc. So today we'll discuss all these things and which is the suitable or what is the permissible limit for each and every parameter. We'll discuss in details. So without further delay, let's start the discussion.
Now we will discuss about the boiler waters, its problem and the solution. The water which is used in the boiler, that is very important. Its quality is very important. Why? Because if we do not maintain the proper quality of the water, that means there are some parameters of the water. If we do not follow the proper way to maintain the parameter according to its limiting value, then there may be different kinds of problem arise. Even there may be some explosion also possible. So from that point of view, that boiler water parameters are very important. Okay, the quality of the boiler water is very important. So the quality of the water is important to avoid the damage to the boiler. The damage means there may be if there is some scale occur from the in the boiler, then what happen, there may be some kinds of explosion also possible. The makeup water, depending, I'll also explain what is the makeup water and what is the terms are which are used here. I will explain one by one. The makeup water, depending on its source, may contain large amount of impurities. Okay, so if there is large amount of impurities, if not treated, shall result in falling the boiler heat transfer. That means the heat transfer will not be equal. Okay, when their heat transfer will not be equal, then what happen? If the heat transfer is not equal, there will be some area where heat is very high and where heat is very low. Then what happen? There will be some kind of crack occur in this way. Okay, so in this way, that that makeup water also contain considerable amount of dissolved oxygen. We already discussed that dissolved oxygen is a very important parameter for the water, even for the boiler water also, which is a prime cause of corrosion. Okay, like dissolved oxygen is very important for aquatic life, isn't it? But this dissolved oxygen may be harmful for the boiler water, because this dissolved oxygen is responsible for different kinds of corrosion. So we already discussed in the corrosion chapter that there is a big role of the dissolved oxygen in the corrosion. So that's why we have to think about that what is the amount of dissolved oxygen present in the boiler water. The high heat intensity of the evaporation, okay, accelerate the oxidation. Okay, this is the another problem. And scaling the corrosion process, the pitting corrosion leads to the boiler tube and failure and might damage the downstream equipment. Generally, the higher the makeup water, higher shall be impurities and dissolved oxygen loading. So in this way, actually there may be some kinds of problem arise which we have to think about before utilizing the water, and before utilizing the water we have to maintain properly its other parameters. Okay, now a successful water treatment approach requires a total system approach to the what are the points. First of all, that that look here, that first of all, that prepare the water before it goes to the boiler. First is the first step. Second step, maximize the potential of the condensate. Third point, provide internal boiler protection. Maintain clean internal boiler surface. This is very important point. Okay, the internal boiler surface should be clean. If it is not clean, then their heat transfer will not be equal. What I told you just few minutes ago, that if heat transfer is not uniform, then there is a high chance of the explosion. Okay, avoid problem and shut down. Extend equipment life. This is another thing. Equipment life should be extended, and monitor and control treatment level. Okay, so now this measurement or these steps we have to follow one by one. Now think about that. By definition, the following terms we have to know. What I told you, that there are some terms is very much important for boiler water. First of all, it is the makeup water. Okay, so makeup water, it is the raw water, it is the softened water or the demineralized water required for the steam generation. That means which water we are using. Okay, that means it may be the raw water, so it is the softened water or the demineralized water required for the steam generation. So for steam generation, what water we are using, that water is called the makeup water. Now condensate water. That means when steam transfer its heat to the process heat exchanger or heating coil, it reverts to a liquid phase called condensate. Okay, so there may be again condensation occur. So condensate water is generally very pure, and when returned back to the boiler for production into steam, again does not require additional treatment of the chemicals, because it is actually after heating it cool down, then again it come to the boiler chamber. So that's why the further treatment is not required, because generally in this process we purify the water. Okay, so in this process we purify the water, that's why it is automatically purified, so no further purification is required. One of the most attractive method of improving the boiler water quality and steam plant energy efficiency. It is the most important way. Then the third case is that blow down water. Okay, so what is the blow down water? The blow down water means the part of water that is purposely drained to limit the level of impurities to an acceptable level. Okay, makeup water is added to compensate for the blow down loss. Okay, so the part of water that is purposely drained, that is actually drained to the limit to limit the level of the impurities. Okay, to maintain the limit of the impurities, okay, to an acceptable level. So this is called the blow down water. Free water is the aggregate of total condensate return and boiler makeup water that is feed to the boiler to make up new stream. So feed water equals to makeup water plus return condensate water. Okay, so what is the raw water which we are using plus which water is condensate, the sum of these two water is called the. So there is a guideline for water quality in water tube boilers. Okay, so guideline means there is some permissible limit of the to measure the water quality parameters. Okay, so first of all, look here that in the water quality parameter there will be the drum pressure will be, it is approximately 1 to 300. Then its limit will be iron ppm 0.100 or copper in 0.5050, and total hardness will be 0.300, and silica in ppm SiO2 it will be 150, and total alkalinity in ppm it will be 700, and specific conductance or micromos, okay, so per centimeter it will be 7000. Okay, so this depends on the these all are related. Okay, so if that means if we change the pressure here, look here, if we change the pressure 301 to 450, then what happen, all the concentration like iron, like copper, like here total hardness, like silica, that all the concentration will be changed. So that means this guideline is very important for the boiler water to maintain the boiler water quality parameters. Okay, because with the drum pressure all the other things are very related to each other. In this way we have to maintain the boiler water quality parameter. There are also other things also here. Just check all the pressures. Okay, for this pressure there are different parameters are also here useful, like here also, starting from iron, copper, total hardness, and then alkalinity. All these things are very related with the pressure of the drum. Okay, so if the pressure you change, then obviously there will be change of the each and every case, each and every parameter will be changed. Now come to the point, what is the external treatment and what is the internal treatment. External treatment, as the term is applied to water prepared for use of boiler feed water, usually refers to the chemical and mechanical treatment of the water source. The goal is to improve the quality of this source prior to use it the boiler feed water. Okay, external treatment means that that water we have to treat it at first, then we can use the water in the boiler. Okay, so at first externally we have to treat, or there will be a treatment to the water. Okay, so for example, it includes what are the process. The process are included here, like here clarification, like filtration, like softening, like dealkalization, like demineralization, like all these processes are included in here. Okay, so there are different kinds of process by treatments are available by which we can treat the water. There will be a treatment for external treatment at first, then we can use this water in the boiler. Okay, so any or all these approaches can be used for the feed water boiler, or for boiler water feed boiler water preparation. That means that if it is any particular treatment is required for a particular purpose or particular type of the factory or the particular type of the industry, then what happened, then this treatment we have to follow. Otherwise, if there is required that all types of treatment we can follow to make the to prepare the boiler water. Okay, now after using there is an internal treatment. Is there any chance by this process we can treat the water internally? Okay, there may be possible. Okay, so what is the internal treatment? In case of internal treatment, look here that that even after the best and most appropriate external treatment of the water source, boiler feed water including return condensed, both cases. Okay, the raw water and which water we are using, which water is condensed. Okay, both the water still contain impurities that could adversely affect the boiler operation. That means we are using the water externally from the outside, like if it is the boiler, okay, so we are using the water from outside. Okay, then this water is actually we externally purified. Okay, externally where treatment was after external treatment we pass the water, but again if when it come here, then again some kinds of treatment is required because it can carry some kinds of impurities. Maybe in this boiler there are some kinds of impurities that are already present in the boiler. Then what happened when the pure water or the purified water enter into the boiler, there may be some kinds of chance of the impurity mixing with this water. That means we have to follow the internal treatment also. So internal boiler water treatment usually to form the chemical doses or injection is then there some kind of chemical treatment we have to follow internally such that the water can be purified in the internal boiler also, then applied to minimize the potential problems and to avoid the such kind of any failures or external treatment malfunctions. Okay, so that means we have to follow all these things. Now come to the most important part. What are the problems? That means if there is any limit, any parameter for the water quality parameters, it's beyond its maximum limit, then what problem can arise in the boiler, which we have to know very clearly. So first of all, turbidity. Okay, so finally suspended matter, you know turbidity. What is the turbidity? Which does not settle impart a muddy or cloudy appearance to the water. Okay, this is the description. Okay, so that means what appearance you can see here, that it is the very finely suspended matter which does not settle, impart a muddy or cloudy appearance to water. Color is a natural waters. Color in natural waters is generally due to organics from the decayed vegetarian and organic waste, causing water to vary from colorless to deep brown. So different types of colors are possible due to organics from decayed which after decay, that vegetation and organic waste. Due to this, there are some kinds of color may be possible. So by observing the color, we can understand what types of impurity present there. Suspended solid. Okay, so if you think about the suspended solid, then look here that these are the exist in water as suspended particles. They are usually mineral or organic in origin. Okay, either it will be mineral or inorganic. So undissolved matter cause turbidity and can plug lines, deposit in heat exchange equipment, boiler, etc. These types of problem can be generated from suspended solids. Okay, these substances are not generally a problem. The substances are not generally a problem as they can be filtered out. Okay, so the size of the suspended solids are generally high. So if the size is generally high, then what happen? We can remove these suspended particles easily. Okay. Now come to the point dissolved solid. Okay, suspended particles, suspended solid. What are the suspended solids? These solids can be easily filtered out. Okay, we can if we follow the filtering process, they will be separated. But which solids are dissolved, they are not easily we can eliminated. So dissolved solid, first of all, what is the dissolved solid? These are the substances that will dissolve in water. The principal ones are the carbonates and the sulfates of calcium and magnesium. Okay, so mainly carbonate and sulfates of the calcium and magnesium. This dissolved solid also and they form the scale. Okay, so this which are scale forming when heated, and this is the main problem in the boiler. If in the boiler there is a formation of the scale, this is the major problem, very major problem when heated. There are other dissolved solid also which are non-scale forming. But in case of calcium and magnesium, mainly calcium and magnesium, these two are very dangerous. Calcium and magnesium 2+, these two are very dangerous. Okay, so these form the carbonate and the sulfate. It can form the scale also. Then total solids. Okay, if you think about the total solid, then the sum of the suspended solids and dissolved solids is determined gravimetrically. Okay, so we can determine it by gravimetrically. Now come to the point hardness. Also hardness, calcium and magnesium salts, due to calcium and magnesium salts, hardness is generated. So hardness is the another problem also. So calcium and magnesium salts, which are in chief source of the scale. Okay, where we discussed about the dissolved solid also. In the same way, hardness in the more or less same, they are same things. Okay, so they can form the scale. Now alkalinity. So bicarbonate, carbonate and hydrate, that means HCO3 minus, CO32 minus and OH minus. These three ions are majorly responsible for the alkalinity of the water sample, and this can be measured by the titration. Alkalinity can be converted to the CO2 in steam and cause the corrosion. Okay, so this type of ACO3 and CO32 minus, ACO3 minus, this can be converted to the carbon dioxide, but what happened, this carbon dioxide again it causes some kind of corrosion. This is the another problem. Okay, in the steam when temperature is coming. Free mineral acidity. So these are the it is the H2SO4 HCl. So this produce some, or this gives some kinds of acidity of the Then there are some kinds of dissolved gases are there. Okay, so oxygen and carbon dioxide can be readily dissolved by water. These gases are aggressive and also these gases are very dangerous. Okay, so we have to think about that what are the effects of the dissolved gases. And I already told you, if there is then oxygen is dissolved there, okay, dissolved oxygen, it is not very much good for the boiler water, because oxygen is responsible for the corrosion. Some kinds of cation also possible, and it is related to the hardness of the water, because in the hardness of the water there are also calcium 2 plus, magnesium 2 plus, and potassium. Potassium is not responsible for the hardness, but calcium 2 plus and magnesium 2 plus, these were responsible for the hardness. And here also these positively charged ions, calcium, magnesium, then potassium, sodium, potassium, these may be present there. Okay, anions are there also, negatively charged anions, like which form the alkalinity also, like HCO3 minus, CO3 2 minus, OH minus, and on the other hand sulfate, SO4 2 minus, chloride and nitrate, this also may be present in the anions. Now come to the point, silica. Okay, so silica normally exists in water as the anion HSiO2 minus or the colloidal suspension. So silica may present the both way. Okay, so silica is also creates some kinds of problem if it present in the boiler water. Then iron and manganese can exist in water as a dissolved cation, but readily precipitated. And can cause the decoloration and falling. Okay, so these may be the problem regarding the iron and manganese. Okay, but it can be readily precipitated. Okay, this can be separated. Okay, oil and grease. Okay, oil and grease can exist in water as an emulsion causing foaming. Okay, this is the main problem, that if there is any oil and grease present, then it create the emulsion. Okay, and it produce some kinds of foam. Then there are some common impurities in the water, and what are the effects. Okay, and there some names are also available there. These common impurities, first of all, that calcium carbonate. So what is the common name of calcium carbonate? The common name of calcium carbonate is the chalk or limestone. And what is the effect on the boiler? This is the soft scale. Okay, it is the effect of the calcium carbonate. Then calcium bicarbonate. So calcium bicarbonate, its effect is also soft scale, and it produces carbon dioxide. And I already told you, if carbon dioxide is produced, then there may be some kinds of another problem. Okay, I already told you. Then calcium sulfate. Calcium sulfate, its common name is the gypsum. Okay, and it produces the hard scale. Then calcium chloride. Calcium chloride, it also produce some kinds of corrosion. Then magnesium carbonate. Its name is that magnesite, and it produce the soft scale. Then magnesium bicarbonate. Magnesium bicarbonate, it also produce the scale or the corrosion. Then magnesium sulfate, MgSO4, the name of the magnesium sulfate is Epsom salt, and it also participate in the corrosion. Then sodium chloride, NaCl, its name is the common salt. Sodium chloride is the common salt we use also in our kitchen. And then its name is the electrolysis. Okay, so these all the compounds which are impurities may present, and their effects are very can create the problem. And what you see here, that the major effect is the corrosion and the scale. So both are interrelated actually, because there are some compounds also there, like calcium carbonate, it produces the scale also. It also like calcium, another salt also, calcium chloride, it can produce the corrosion. So anyhow, if we remove these compounds, then both the problem will be solved, either scale or the problem regarding the corrosion. So we have to think about mainly these two problems. First of all, we have to think about the scale. So scale is the major problem in the. Now there are some another compounds also here. This is the sodium carbonate. What is the name of the sodium carbonate? This is the washing soda. And what is the effect? Effect is the alkalinity. Okay, it generate the alkalinity. Then sodium bicarbonate, NaCO3. What is the name of the sodium bicarbonate? It is the baking soda. And its problem effect is the foaming. And sodium hydroxide, NaOH. What is the common name of the sodium hydroxide? The common name is the caustic soda. And what is the effect? Effect is the alkalinity. Okay, it gives the alkalinity, or it produces the alkalinity, and it is responsible for the alkalinity. Then sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. It is the Glauber salt, and it's also produce some alkalinity. Okay, then silicon dioxide, SiO2. Its name is the silica, and it produce the hard scale. So here also some kind of compounds are there, like sodium carbonate and sodium bicarbonate and sodium hydroxide. These all are create alkalinity or foaming. And one important thing is that here silicon dioxide present, SiO2, which is also responsible for the hard scale. Okay, hard scale is very dangerous, because I told you that when hard scale is produced, their heat distribution will not be unique. Okay, or one level. So if their heat distribution is not the same, there is a high chance of tacking in the scale, and there may be some kinds of explosion also possible there. So first of all, it is the main thing that which we have to control. This is the scale generation. Water impurities such as calcium, magnesium, silica, commonly found in most water supplies and precipitate at a high temperature and form a dense coating of material on the water side of the boiler tubes. This layer of the coating is technically known as the scale. Actually, this coating is called, actually it is the scale. The character of this scale may vary from very dense to porous. Either it will be dense or it will be porous, it depends. Okay, so from loosely held bonded to the surface. Okay, so it may be loosely bound or maybe tightly bound, okay, with the surface. So which we have to keep in mind, that the key point which we have to keep in mind, that scale it is the typically has a thermal conductivity in order of magnitude less than corresponding value for the bare steel. Okay, even thin layer of scale serve as an effective insulator and retard heat transfer. What I told you, this is the main problem of the scale regarding heat transfer. Scale, in addition to its insulating value, progressively narrows pipe internal diameter. Obviously, if there is a very intense, very dense scale, then what happen? It reduce the internal diameter of the pipe. This is another problem, and it roughen the tube surface and impede proper flow. Scale causes the tube's metal temperature to rise, which increases the flue gas temperature. In extreme cases, the tubes fail from overheating. Okay, so these are the problems of the scale. Now, what are the principal factors which are mainly responsible for the scale formation? This is the calcium, magnesium and silica concentration. These are the mainly responsible for the scale formation. Alkalinity of the water sample. This is the another problem which we have to control, because it is also responsible for the scale formation. High operating temperature, high concentration of solid, insufficient blowdown, and low condensate recirculation. Okay, so these all are the all the things are responsible for the scale formation. Okay, so that means you have to keep in mind that this is the general idea that calcium and magnesium magnesium hardness is not only the cause for the scale formation, because here you see there are so many causes are there which are responsible for scale formation. So generally we think that only calcium and magnesium hardness are responsible for the scale formation. This is not right actually. Okay, so there are so many impurities are there, so many causes are there by which there will be the generation of the scale or the production of the scale will be possible. Come to the point that most important point, that how we can control the scale formation. How is it possible to control the scale formation? So any scale in a boiler is undesirable, you know, any kind of scale. Okay, so the best way to deal with the scale is to let it form, and in the first place a scale formation is prevented. Okay, how we can prevent the scale formation? By these points. Okay, external pre-treatment of boiler makeup water. Okay, makeup water, when we are using the water before utilization of the water in the boiler, we have to treat the water. The pre-treatment is required such that the impurities should be removed, to remove the hardness, scale forming minerals before they enter into the boiler system. Internal treatment using chemical internal treatments also required, that chemical formulations, there may be possible some kinds of chemical formulation by which you can remove the scale formation. The boiler feed water, for instance phosphate treatment, to keep the common scale forming materials and in dissolved form. Okay, so this may be the another way by which we can control the scale formation. That means external treatment also required, and internal treatment, that means some kind of chemical reaction is also possible to remove the scale formation. Then adopting proper boiler blowdown system. Okay, so if there is a proper blowdown system, then we can control the scale formation. Okay, scale formation. The boiler feed water is some of, you know, condensed water and makeup water. The condensed water produced as a result of the condensed of the evaporated steam is very pure, that already we discussed. Okay, and free from hardness causing salt. So the makeup water on other hand has the impurity, so which must be treated to remove the hardness salt. Okay, thus higher the makeup water, higher shall be the impurities and higher will be the scale forming tendencies. That means we have to concentrate more that condensed water also this is very much pure, but makeup water is not. So if the amount of makeup water will be increased in the boiler, then obviously what happened there, chance of the scale formation will be higher. So in this way we can control the scale formation. And the other things, hardness and alkalinity, we already discussed in the previous lecture. Okay, so that's why here it is not required, but the how we can control the scale formation for the boiler water, this is very very important thing which you have to know. Okay, or which you have to understand properly. So that's all for today. So thanks for watching, thanks for attending this class. Goodbye, take care.